when we see someone who has a lot of ego, a lot of confidence, character, a lot of the times they have the things that we want, we tend to put a bad rap on them. And here's the thing, ego is a double-edged sword. On one side of the spectrum, where you have very little ego, you have low confidence, and a lot of the things that you strive to do that you'd want to do, you don't think you're good enough to do them. And on the other side, you have someone that's so egotistical, so full of themselves that they think they're always right. And so they'll never learn anything new. So I think there's a huge misconception in our society now when we talk about ego, when we talk about confidence. A lot of people do think ego is a bad thing. They think that it's narcissistic, and to the extreme, it is. When brought to the extreme, when you're so full of yourself, when you're so narcissistic, to the extreme, anything is bad. But for most people, having more ego is actually going to help them achieve their goals and achieve the success that they've been looking for. I'm going to tell you right now, if I didn't have a high ego, I wouldn't have gotten to this point physically. If I didn't think highly of myself, even from the start, even when I was fat, I wouldn't have gotten to this point. So I think ego can serve you just as well as it served me. A lot of people I know that there's so much potential in them, and there's so much they could do with their lives, but they think very little of themselves. They think that they're not capable of those things. So I found out that when I thought higher of myself, I was more likely to stay disciplined in my habits. I was less likely to relapse. And I was more likely to do things when I didn't feel like it. So have the ego to say, yeah, these are my goals. These are the things I want to do. And I can achieve those goals. I just have to put my mind to it. Have the ego and the confidence to pursue your goals. Don't have so much where you're not going to learn anything. You're always, so I call it always right syndrome, right? It's where your ego is to a point where it's toxic, pretty much where you can't learn anything new. It's where anything anyone else tells you, you don't listen to because you're like, nah, I don't think that because I'm always right and I never make the wrong choice, okay? That type of ego you'll never learn. It's toxic. But the truth is, very little people have that type of ego. So it's going to serve you to have more ego. For most people, it's going to serve you to have more ego than you do now. So ask yourself this question. Where on the spectrum are you in this ego? Most likely you're in this area, okay? But make a line like this where no ego and there's ego on this side. Make a line and figure out where you are in the spectrum and put a mark there. And then put another mark of where you want to be on the spectrum, right? So for example, if I put a mark here, I'd probably want to be around here. Okay, I don't want to be too high, but I want to be in this area, right before it gets too high. And that way you're going to have a healthy amount of ego, a healthy amount of confidence to pursue any of the goals that you're looking to pursue. And yeah, here's the thing, ego gets a bad rap, but why wouldn't you love yourself? Is it wrong to love yourself? Don't you think it would help your mental health to love yourself? And I'm not saying not to love other people, of course not. But loving yourself is good for you. So make sure you take those action steps, write down where you are in the ego spectrum, write down where you want to be, and then work towards getting to that mark. Okay, and it takes some work, but a quick tip for you is to start thinking, there's nothing that anyone has done that I can't do. Okay, that's a good way to start. It's not going to fix all of the internal programming you've been through, all of the conditioning you've been through. We've been raised essentially in a society where it's frowned upon to think highly of yourself. So you're going to have a lot of doubts, right? You might have a lot of doubts about yourself because of all the things people say, oh, you need to be this, you need to be that, and you've been listening to all this advice, and the truth is you can be anything. You just got to put your mind to it. And if you really want a full mindset change, I have a few videos already on my channel, and I'm also dropping a full self-improvement course, and I'm going to be going over the philosophies and the ego, and using ego actually to your advantage. So make sure you subscribe and check out the rest of my videos. That way you can start developing those skills and those habits to increasing your success.